Okay, matric. So let's quickly have a look. This is the supplementary paper from this year. Just want to make one change. So the octagon there is 20, not 12. So I'm going to start off by drawing. So they tell me cutting plane BB. So BB comes right through there. What you will notice, A is over here. So that does catch some students out. So they tell me it's 90. So I'm going to come along here. $90. Draw a nice light line going up. And they tell me it goes up by 10. And I'm going to bring it back lightly. They also tell me that this gap is 15. So coming along here, measuring 15, and again, nice light line going up. Nice and dark. And I'm just taking that over there. They tell me that this is 60. So 20, 20, 20. So 20. Now I've got this whole part here. They tell me 25. So just a nice light line. And then 25. So 10, 20, and 5. And that's going to be my center line going up. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to come along and draw my octagons. They tell me it's 45 degrees. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to have my octagon. Need my octagon first before I can draw that part there. So my octagon is 20. So there's my 20. Again, an octagon is always at 45 degrees, 20. $20. $20. $20. What I am going to do, I'm going to just create a triangle here because I need these measurements. So this here is 14, this is 20, and that is 14, and hopefully if my maths is good, 20, 34, 48. So that whole thing, as we can see, is 48. So the whole part is 48. So what I am going to do, line going up here, and I'm going to come along there, and I'm going to measure two lots of measurements. My cutting plane is on the center, so I'm going to come along, measure 48 and 24. What I have done, that's my 24 line. I've gone and done dark. And my 48 line is a construction line. Now, I did this the other day with a student, and I did it all very, very dark to help the student see it, and it actually made it a lot harder for the student to actually see what's going on. So that's why I'm just doing that little bit like that. Okay. Got this little bit of my octagon. So I know my octagon was 20, so that is 10 millimeters. So I'm going to measure here, 10 millimeters. And I know that is basically that part of my octagon. I can now come along from here, measure my 14, Okay. Already have my middle, so I know I need 10 here. Also 10 up there. So what I have done, darkened, darkened, light. They tell me it's 20, so from here, take it back 20, take it back 20, lightly take it back 20. Dark and light. Now remember, I drew that line on through there, so that's going to help me project my little bit of my octagon here. So if I just draw it lightly, you should see my octagon, and of course, I'd be able to draw this back lightly 20 and just join the dots. Now please remember, that is just to help me project over here what's going on. It's not actually part of my whole drawing. So it's just to help me. Okay? What I am now going to do, just to explain, I've drawn that lightly through and I've got that part going there. I've got two options. I can go and do my circle, or I can go and do my web. I'm going to do my circle first. So they tell me 32, so they tell me that this gap is 16. Okay. Bring this lightly through. Now I can bring this line to there like that. So that is just those lines that are going through. Does that. Over here I'm going to measure 20 back. Okay, so that's basically that little bit there. Now, remember, I've got the bit of a web going, so that's why I've not drawn that part dark. Okay, I'm going to measure down 16, and I'm going to measure up 16. And again, just having light lines for my circle. What I am going to do, because this is on camera, sometimes the camera doesn't show you all my construction lines, stuff like that. So I've got my square there, 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 and there. That is my circle. Going to touch, touch. Okay, just double checking my measurements. That is 16. That is 16. That is 16. Just double checking. Okay, have that going through. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to create an arc. Take my measurement to the back. Okay. Have that line here. Lightly through. From here, lightly through. Taking this here So what I want that measurement there. That gives me over here radius 9, which is diameter 18. So I come along here, diameter 18. Have that through there. Okay. And now you can see it's short, but if I take that line through, it goes back through. So now I can just come along here. Draw it through there. Neaten that up a little bit. Draw the back. Finish my center line. Again, center line going through. Now I know that this whole height stays the same. So they tell me 60 degrees. So drawn my auxiliary view, and they tell me that this distance is 66. So I now know over here I need 66. So what I can do, take this corner lightly back, take that back to there, take it lightly. Now I can measure 66. Okay. This part here again is 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. Now, remember up at the top here, I drew lightly, okay? So I'm going to draw up here lightly. There's my construction line. So that comes up to that point over here. So I'm going to lightly draw to there. Okay. Extend that line to there. Gives me that bit. Brought that line up. Taken that line across. Again, it meets over there. Lightly. Draw to there, nice and simple. And now I can come along, oh my pages, my hand's been a bit sweaty. Now I can come along and hatch. Please remember we hatch at 60 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to quickly hatch. I'm hatching at 10 millimeters. And just making sure that my hatching goes all the way through my drawing. Please remember it is important that it is all at 60 degrees.